Bonjour Pengies and welcome to Pat Peng's Cast, the show that dives you into the world as I see it. I'm Patrick, your host, and today we're cranking the volume up to 11 out of 10 for one of the most epic parties on the planet, La Fête de la Musique. Imagine if every street corner in the City of Light had its own DJ and every park was a concert venue. Yep, it's that wild. So dust off your dancing shoes, grab a croissant, and get ready to boogie. Stay tuned. Bonjour. I have a quick announcement to make. As you probably already saw, the episode release frequency has changed, and it's now set to monthly, the first Thursday of every month, instead of bi-weekly. So welcome to episode 11, the one of the month of June, called Paris Musical, of season 1, pardon my Parisian, of my podcast. I'd like to welcome Marie again to my podcast. It's her second episode. The first one was episode 6, called Paris on the Move, related to transportation and how the Parisians move in the city. So check it out. Hello, Marie.
Hello.
How are you today?
Great, and you?
Perfect, thank you. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about what we call in French La Fête de la Musique, as you already know, known in English as the World Music Day. We're going to talk about the history of La Fête de la Musique, the origins, what to expect, and some topics, some tips, if you'd like, to enjoy this wonderful day in Paris. So let's start by the history and the origins of the La Fête de la Musique. Go ahead.
Yes, well, I may not know all the details, but what I know...
You're very humble, but I'm sure you do.
What I know is that the first edition was created in 82 by Jacques Lang, who was...
I don't know how we call that
the
in
French
English.
Minister of Culture.
Yeah, right.
And when it was created, actually, it was a bit created in a rush. Mm-hmm. And they put some posters and some ads. And the aim was to create an event for musicians, amateur musicians, to make music accessible in France, all kind of music. And what they wrote on the posters was Fête de la Musique, but it wasn't written as World Music Day. So what was written was Fête de la Musique, but literally in French, it's translated as make music. But
fête like the word to do.
Yes, exactly. The thing is, actually, there are two meanings in French, but it's written differently. Fête can mean party, but also make or do. So yes, that's a little funny things about the Fête de la Musique. It's the party of music, but also make music.
Make music.
Yes. So the first edition was created a bit in a rush. Mm-hmm. So actually for him, it was a lot of pressure because he didn't know if it was going to work or not. Mm-hmm. But it did. It was a huge success. And now there are like everyone in France knows the Fête de la Musique.
Obviously,
really, it's really famous. Like 97% of the French people have participated in at least one edition.
97. This is literally huge.
One figure that really impressed me is that 10% of French people have participated in one edition, but as a musician.
Oh, so they played, or they sang, or
yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
What we should remember is that it's really something to promote music and to promote amateur musicians. That's also why everything is free or should be free. Mm-hmm. If it's not free, then it's not entitled to be named as Fête de la Musique.
Yeah. It's just literally, it becomes a private concert.
Yeah. But it's not Fête de la Musique.
Yeah, it loses its sense and meaning.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, there are some paid stuff in the city when we look around, but they're not as popular as the other events and things that are happening in the city. And you guys, if you haven't done La Fête de la Musique yet in Paris, you should absolutely prioritize, the events that are spontaneous, or even if they are organized, but they are organized from everyone to everyone. It's like really for free in the streets or in local bars, not only in streets,
bars
but also in bars,
yes.
restaurants, literally everywhere. So that's the point of La Fête de la Musique.
The date, it's every year it's on the same date, the 21st of June.
Right.
Because, it's the the longest day in the
That's what I was going to say.
in the year. The solstice. Summer solstice.
Exactly, summer solstice. So it's the longest day of the year, and this year it's on Friday. So nobody has any excuse to not to go because the next day is Saturday. Nobody works. So you can enjoy a nice long evening of music before the weekend.
And sleep during the day.
Exactly. And sleep during the day. Okay, so what to expect during this evening of La Fête de la Musique? Imagine that you're strolling in the streets of Paris on this Friday, the 21st of June. The sun is setting because it's already around 9 p.m. And you're listening to all kinds of music coming from pretty much everywhere, to rock, pop, reggae, jazz, pretty much electro, all kinds of music.
It's everywhere. Also the aim of that event. Democratize all kind of music.
Exactly.
And to make it accessible.
So metal, even French variety, everything. The Fête de la Musique does not have like a particular neighborhood where it's celebrated. It's really in all 20 districts of the city, from Le Marais to Montmartre to the center, to even the suburbs of the city. But we're not going to discuss the suburbs today. But yeah, even pretty much everywhere. So what we're going to do today is we're going to highlight some of the must-visit spots for us. I mean, what we recommend as you, Marie, and myself in the city during the Fête de la Musique. First of all, what I love to go mainly during that evening, and pretty much during any evening in the summer in Paris, is to go nearby the banks of the Seine, like really by the river, and sit down and enjoy the river. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people do that anyway. And during the Fête de la Musique, what is good is that a lot of musicians perform by the banks of the river of the Seine, which makes it really very magical. I mean, you can imagine all the buildings around with Paris's architecture that is really phenomenal. And in the same time, you have this river that is next to you. The water is flowing. The music is in the air. And usually the weather is not that hot, not that cold in the evenings of the month of June, hopefully.
Usually not that cold.
Usually not that cold.
Usually quite hot.
In the evenings, it can be a
bit chilly.
A bit chill, but I mean, for me, it's the perfect temperature. So that's why I love to go there, banks of the Seine. I don't have a specific thing to recommend other than saying that the entire banks of the Seine is something that you must do during the Fête de la Musique, and you can just walk along the Seine River, and you can find something that you like, and just stop and spend some time, and then continue walking. And then find another thing that you like and stop and spend some time. So this is how you will spend your evening anyway.
I completely agree. I guess on my side, what I prefer is to walk around the little streets, for example, close to Bastille or in Le Marais, and just follow the music and just wander in the streets.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So whether it's along the Seine River or in the city itself, in the streets of the city, you can always wander there and follow the music if you'd like.
And one thing to remember is that it might be, or maybe it will be really crowded. So sometimes it's not easy to go to one point to another because there are so many people in the street, dancing in the street, in the middle of the road.
Right.
That it may take some time, but it's not impossible at all.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're in the middle of a club. Actually.
Yes, exactly. But it's outside.
It's so packed. It's so packed in the streets that you would feel like you're in the middle of a club that like at the peak time. So your itinerary might take a bit longer than usual, but it's worth it. I can also talk about the Canal Saint-Martin, which is coming from the Seine River. The Canal Saint-Martin is also a very nice place to go and spend some time during the World Music Day. A lot of spontaneous musicians or events happen there. So I would definitely recommend that. Some musicians also perform in an open air concert. So it's really nice to go there. And the setup is amazing. One thing also I'd like to mention is Le Marais, which is a neighborhood in the 4th district. In Le Marais, we were talking about an open air club. Well, that's definitely the case in Le Marais. There is a street called Rue des Archives. And there's also a perpendicular street to Rue des Archives called Rue de la Sainte-Bretonnerie. In this area, you have a club. And in this club, actually, there is one of my friends that you all know called Louis. A shout out to Louis. Hi, Louis. Well, he's the DJ pretty much every year.
He's playing there.
So he plays there, and there's like a lot of people that go to listen to his music, and they are just like dancing in the streets around the club, around the bar. It's not a club, it's a bar. Around the bar, but really like outside. Obviously, there are people inside, but what is surprising is the amount of people that are outside. Yeah. And the bar puts projectors and smoke machines and speakers outside of the bar, so it's like they are literally on the streets. So the street becomes a club, and our
the party is outside.
And the party is outside. It's also inside, but it's mainly outside because of the weather being nice and the amount of people. And in this bar, Louis, who showed up in several of my episodes already and will be participating in a few of them in the future, plays there. So I would definitely recommend you guys to go to this bar in the 4th district in Le Marais. Talking about Louis, in the 3rd episode, we talked about the islands of Paris, Île de la Cité and Île Saint-Louis, and Louis was my guest, and we discussed the Île de la Cité. So the Île de la Cité during the Fête de la Musique is also like a hotspot. It's a place where you should go because they have a lot of, obviously like anywhere else in the city, they have a lot of spontaneous events happening. But also in the square Place Dauphine, the square that we talked about also in episode 3, they build an open stage on this square. And apparently they worked on the lighting, and there will be like something this year that is happening that is very interesting. So they are recommending us to check it out because it seems like it's going to be next level, even though the year before and the year, last year and the year before, it was already very good. So I assume that this year would be even better. Another square in Île de la Cité is called Square de l'Île-de-France. I would also recommend you to go there because the band that is performing in the Square de l'Île-de-France is called Les Gardiens de la Paix, which is actually the band of the Paris Police Department. Yes, the Paris Police Department has a music band. So if you like the trumpets and you want to support the Paris Police, then you can go to the Square de l'Île-de-France and listen to them playing over there in the island of l'Île de la Cité. Last but not least, on the Île de la Cité, we cannot mention Île de la Cité without mentioning the Notre Dame Cathedral. And in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral, there is a square called the Square of Notre Dame de Paris. And usually a lot of people gather there spontaneously to dance on folk music. So if you'd like to listen or dance on folk music, you can go there because people gather there spontaneously to dance this kind of music. So I would recommend it.
Is it still the case, even if there are works?
Well, the works, they took a part of the square, but not entirely.
Okay.
So I guess that it's okay. Just check it out. Anyway, you will be in Île de la Cité. So it's not too far. You know that Île de la Cité is extremely small. So you can just like go from a place to another very quickly. Now, check it out. If you like folk music, it might be worth it.
Maybe one thing is that because of the Olympics game that will take place in Paris from July until beginning of August, the Quai de Seine will be closed for the Olympic Games, of course, but even starting from mid-June, some parts will be closed because, they need to install everything.
Right, on the by the Seine River, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go on the Quai de Seine, by the Seine...
On the banks of the Seine River, yeah.
Yeah, on the Seine River for the Fête de la Musique, then some parts will be open, but you just need to anticipate and check because some parts may be closed as well.
Just anticipate and check, just in case. We talked about the Île de la Cité. I would like also to talk about some squares and some parks where you should go. The square in front of the different city halls of the city, because you know that the city has different districts and every district has a city hall. So the squares in front of every city hall will have something, but in particular this year, the 15th district is organizing a nice event with 33 artists. One of them being Offenbach. Okay, do not mix up with the composer. It's not the composer. I'm talking about the duo of DJs, French electronic DJs called Offenbach that you probably know because they're becoming very famous. So I love this band and they will be there. So if you'd like them and you like the 15th district, then just go there. Also the Square of République. I don't have anything specific to mention there, but in general, the Square of République is always a place that is animated and dynamic. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of things happening there, so go there as well. And when it comes to parks, I would mention the Parc Montsouris just because it's also beautiful and they're doing some traditional music from various French regions this year. So if you'd like to listen to some Brittany songs or Celtic songs or songs from the south or the east or the west, then you can go there. Also, last but not least, there's something called La Petite Ceinture, and most specifically a place called Hasard Ludique, which is really a place or a bar. It's an open air place located on the old railed roads of Paris. And it's electronic music. So I would definitely recommend it because of the music that is usually very good there. And also because of the place, Hasard Ludique and the Petite Ceinture, when you are on the railroads in like became some sort of a park actually on the railroads. It's really very nice, especially in summer. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys to go there.
Also, what's funny is that because it's free, because it's for everyone, well, I won't say there is no rule on that night, but there are at least less rules. The bars and clubs can be opened way later than they usually are. We can play music outside, even very loudly, which is usually completely forbidden.
Right.
So, for example...
so what you're saying that there are no rules in Paris this evening.
less rules. But I remember some friends of mine, they were living on the second floor and had balcony. They just put speakers on their balcony and one of them was a DJ and they just did the show on the balcony
it's
for
amazing.
people in the streets.
So people in the streets,
and it's allowed,
and they were on their balcony at home. And they were like just like offering music to the people.
Exactly.
And talking about rights and laws and everything, you were telling me like earlier something about the rights of the music not being
exactly. Well,
that's incredible.
In France, there is the SACEM, SACEM. Which is the French legal authority for music. So if you play the music of an artist, whoever you are, but if you play the music of an artist in public, then you need to pay the SACEM, and then the SACEM collects the money and then give it to the artist. And it's a very strong regulation. So clubs, they pay the SACEM. Even a gym club, if they play music, they need to pay the SACEM. So it's a very important regulation. And
luckily, because of the artists who are doing their music, they need to be paid, obviously.
Yes, definitely. And the thing is, on that specific night, there is no SACEM.
Wow.
So you can play the music of Madonna, you won't need to pay the SACEM, and Madonna won't have...
a nickel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
It's more about promoting music for free. And because there is no one to pay, then it's easier to promote every kind of music for free.
Right.
And the other rules that are just removed that night, meaning not making any noise and closing the bars at midnight or 2.
It's a complete anarchy.
It helps amateur musicians to play
definitely
freely.
Yeah, well, I understand. It's really interesting, and it's actually a good thing to remove all these constraints this night to encourage the musicians to play their music. It's a perfect way for them to make themselves seen by the biggest number of people and to promote their content on the street, and actually to be able to test their content, because they will be able to play their music, see the reaction of the people on the street, and decide whether their content is worth being released or not in a certain way, or has to be modified and this or this. So it's a perfect occasion for them to actually progress in their job. Okay, as we said, Fête de la Musique everywhere. So I'm not gonna even mention museums, cultural centers like the Japanese one, like the Irish one, episode 5 that has been recorded in the Irish Cultural Center for the St. Patrick's topic, so you can go and listen to it. But also hidden courtyards everywhere. So just walk around, as we said, wonder whether it's along the Seine River, in the parks, in the streets, and follow the music.
I really insist on that. You should not stick to one plan. You can find 1 or 2 neighborhoods maybe.
Correct.
Find a place, but then you will move, you will wander, you will walk around the city. So just remember, it's okay not to have one plan.
Correct.
Or to start with one, but
it's even recommended not to have one plan.
Yeah, exactly. But be sure you will need to walk and discover.
So that's why start your evening early. I mean, don't start it at 10 or 11 p.m. Yeah. It's too bad. Start it at, I would recommend even start it early as like at 7, you know?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
6 or 7, because, I mean, you would like have some daylight. You will see the sun is setting on the city and you will like feel all these change at the same time. You would be in the heart of the city living this part of the night. So I would definitely recommend you not to start very late. That's it on the what to expect part. Now, last but not least, we're going to give you some tips for you to be enjoying this Fête de la Musique the most. For me, since you're going to be walking a lot, as we said, and you're not going to be sticking to one place, you have to wear comfortable shoes. You will be walking a lot. You will be dancing a lot.
Yes.
So comfortable shoes.
Mostly dancing.
Yeah, mostly dancing.
Because you won't walk. I mean, you will go to one point to another. But
dancing.
Yes.
Even while you're walking, you'll be dancing. So comfortable shoes are necessary. Bring some cash, because as you will be on the go and you will be probably purchasing stuff from street vendors, they might not have, you know, the terminal.
And by stuff, he means water or beers.
Every kind of alcohol. But I mean, I'm not going to promote alcohol in my episode, but yeah, you can. As far as the weather go, we are in June, so it really depends. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's chill in the evening. So you would definitely realize it before going out. But you know, just keep in mind that you might need a light jacket. And as we said, most importantly, keep an open mind and let the music guide you.
Well, you're completely allowed to have a funny outfit, to wear crazy makeup.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy it, please feel free to do it.
Not plastic glitter. Yeah, be extravagant. And you'll be...
And enjoy.
You'll not be the only one anyway that's going to be extravagant. So yeah. So whether you're a Parisian local, or if you're visiting, or if you're a tourist and you're planning to visit the City of Light, and you end up visiting the City of Light during the month of June around the 21st, La Fête de la Musique is an experience that you cannot miss. Remember, the music in general is a universal language. So it will bring us all together, and you're gonna meet people from all around the world, and you're gonna meet some really nice Parisians who are not going to be rude to you this night. So make the best out of it. There are no better place anyway to celebrate La Fête de la Musique than where it started is in Paris. So I'm definitely sure that you're gonna be enjoying. So, this marks the end of our episode. Thank you very much, Marie, for being here live from Paris La Défense.
Thank you, Patrick.
And you're going to be participating in a few episodes again in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and like the episode on the platform you're listening from, whether it's Anrami for our Middle Eastern listeners, or Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Deezer, Spotify, or YouTube. Or on my website, you can also go and check all the information over there, patricksayek.com/patbankscast. Also, please send me some feedback on this episode, whether you agreed or not with what we said, or if you have anything to add on your experience with La Fête de la Musique in Paris, if you've already done it. You can also send me your feedback on the podcast in general. It will be a pleasure to read your comments. See you next month, Pengies.